Oh gee, it sure has been a while since our last Death Battle prediction. That was... Wait, holy shit, that was 10 months ago? Wow, where does the time go? Eh?
It was for one of the most obvious fucking wins in recent Death Battle history.
Well, the wonderful duo of Shiraku Jr. and MegaSonicZX have returned. And this time we'll be giving a prediction for the next episode of Death Battle. Trunks vs. Silver. Except that Xeno Trunks vs. Archie Silver. And I can say, thank Kami they're using these versions of the characters, because as if this was Dragon Ball Super Trunks and Game Silver, you'd have needed to gather the Dragon Balls and revive me when I died of boredom.
Thankfully, while Trunks vs. Silver normally isn't seen as the most debatable matchup, with these versions the line blurs on who you think wins or not, due to how much closer the capabilities of the two characters become. Legitimately, this actually feels really close to it from our perspective. Plus, this is an interesting new way to breathe life into this matchup, even if it does involve the dreaded Super Dragon Ball Heroes enemies in regard. It gives each character new feats to help set it apart from Dragon Ball because we've been receiving on Death Battle as of late.
Plus, it means that all the hard work they did researching Archie Sonic's bullshit isn't stuck in a one-off episode. With that said, stats in this matchup basically don't matter once Silver and Trunks reach their max power. Super Silver and Super Saiyan God Trunks respectively reach equal levels of strength and infinite speed, though either through direct feature scaling, and both have similar abilities like their time stops and methods of time travel.
To elaborate on both, Trunks can scale to King MegaSonicZX, who absorbed the entirety of history in the infinite multiverse, while Silver in his Super Form can arguably scale to Supersonic, who would have rerouted his own infinite multiverse if he had been stopped by Eggman. And Supersonic also fought against Enerjack, being from the godlike ancient waters. He could also fight Sigma in the Mega Man crossover, which was powered by infinite realities. However, here's the deal. Super Silver, within the context of the Archie comics, hasn't appeared in the traditional sense. He's only appeared once in a guidebook, which stated the events of Sonic 2006, basically happened at the beginning of the game.
What this basically means is that Archie Solaris scaling goes brrrr. Given that the game states Solaris is capable of distorting dimensions, Eggman literally saying that Solaris eats dimensions for lunch in boss dialogue, and Archie Solaris would be stronger than his game counterpart, Art2 scaling to Super Sonic and Super Shadow, it stands to reason that Archie Solaris would be capable of roughly the same feats as MegaSonicZX, meaning Super Silver should be able to reach the same power as Super Sonic and in turn Xeno Trunks. You can see why arguing a victory through stats is meaningless now, right? They both scale to the same level of power and speed, and as such, this prediction is more going to be about what specific win conditions both characters have and how they might be able to win with those conditions.
Let's begin with Trunks. For one, he has actually shown a great deal more than Archie Silver has. Gee, it's almost like the Archie comics were stopped short before Silver could actually contribute. As I mentioned before, Super Silver has only appeared once, and you can hardly even call it an appearance. Due to this fact, it's very hard to make the case for Silver having the capability of the same reality warp and chaos control that Sonic was giving in his episode. Plus, opening portals to the Zone of Silence seems like it's an exclusive thing to Ultimate Sonic. Trunks has more solid showings than Super Saiyan God Trunks, and is easier to justify being at his level considering how frequently a bunch of time-breaking shit happens with heroes and Xeno versions.
So let's begin with Trunks' obvious win condition, the Key Sword. That shit is straight up busted, capable of absorbing and siphoning off powers from guys like MegaSonicZX, who we already put as equal to Solaris. So it should stand to reason that the Key Sword will be able to steal Silver's super form as well, and force him to fight in his base form where he's at an extreme disadvantage.
But the Chaos Emeralds, which Silver's undoubtedly going to have this fight, have been also used to seal off enemies within them in the comics. It's not entirely defined if Silver knows about this aspect of them, but it's at least there. Additionally, rings can restore speed to users of the Emeralds as shown with Sonic, and both Mammoth Mogul and Enerjack resisted the effects of Eggman's Egg Grape Chambers which drain energy, the latter of whom Enerjack was able to do so to having a Chaos Emerald, and both are comparable to Sonic and Silver by that proxy.
Basically, both have sealing powers and ways to resist each other's sealing powers. Now, Silver's big win condition is his psychokinesis, because he was able to briefly hold down Super Scourge twice, and redeflect attacks from Dark Enerjack, who was stronger than Super Sonic. What we're explaining here is that Silver's psychokinetic power isn't truly bound by his attack potency, and there would be nothing stopping him from using his psychokinesis to redirect a final flash back at Trunks' face, or hold him down and even crush him under the pressure, especially in his super form when stats are basically dead even.
Then you run into the issue of Dragon Ball characters being able to control and redirect their own ki, with examples of this being Krillin with Scattershot or Yamcha with Spirit Ball. Granted, it'd be likely much more difficult for Trunks to be able to do so, but it is still a viable option, so what the fuck?
Well, they both technically have time limits on their super forms. Super Saiyan forms require Ki to maintain, and when he runs out, he can't transform again, while Super Silver runs on an overall time limit, but one that is based on Chaos energy reserves. Effectively, both can burn themselves out of their super states by using too much power. And if they don't, it's back to base. We don't have an exact way to gauge who'd be able to last longer. Stamina in both series can be pretty inconsistent. But I might be inclined to give it to Silver since Xenotrunks doesn't seem to carry Sensu beams on hand. And we saw Goku and Vegeta burnt out after constant fighting to determine the power. And that was a battle royale that lasted under an hour, while Super Sonic fought off Enerjack for hours. Yes, the Xeno characters are stronger than the characters in Dragon Ball Super, but the general point I'm making here is that Dragon Ball characters tend to tire themselves out faster when they're constantly burning energy sustaining forms while throwing out universe-busting energy beams. Silver may just be able to outlast Trunks in stamina.
I frankly don't know where I stand on this matchup. Yeah, I'm seriously befuddled on where and who to bet for. The whole thing with this matchup, at least from my perspective, is a matchup of who can out-counter the other. Each have direct counters to each other's counters. Silver can seal away beings and Chaos Emeralds, Trunks has that with the T-Sword. Both are directly comparable in stats with Multiversal Plus and Magical Feats, so it's all a matter of hacks. But when they both have comparable levels of hacks as well, the matchup becomes more and more clustered to try and figure out. I'm just going to say that I don't know who wins, but I am going to slightly say that Trunks will maybe just win the episode. Why? Nothing but a goddamn gut feeling. Oh, good lord, did I just reference the right of Skywalker? Well, that, and I'm fairly sure of Trunks being still capable of using key card even for brain. Maybe, I don't know for sure. Guess we'll wait until Sunday to see what happens.
Personally, while I logistically don't have a solid conclusion on who I'd bet for either, deep in my heart I'm rooting for Silver. Dragon Ball characters don't really fight psychics that often, but really it just comes down to Silver's always been the underdog against Trunks. And now that the playing field is finally even, I want to see my boy Silver overcome the odds stacked against him. Also, I just find it funny that neither of them can time each other, since both are desynced from time.
So, in conclusion, fuck if we know, decide amongst yourselves, and we'll simply wait for the full episode to get the explanation.
Hopefully it won't take us another 10 months to do a prediction video, and when we do it'll be a matchup where we can at least agree on a winner. Oh, and by the way, the Key Sword looks really fucking stupid.